Question 6a. Draw an arrow to show 640 on the scale. On the scale we've got at the moment, we have 5 lines marked. 600, 700, and 800 are marked on with a dash in between. Well, if there's only one dash between them, this mark here must represent something which is halfway between 600 and 700. I'd say that's about 650. Now, it doesn't hurt if you need to annotate where numbers are, if it helps you to put the arrow in the right place. If we're to mark where 640 is, we could measure this bit and find out exactly, but a lot of the time, as long as you're in the rough area for something like this, it's pretty good. 640 is quite close to 650, so I would suggest somewhere around about here. Just showing a small arrow very clearly, pointing to where on the line you would put it. If the line was over here, if your arrow was towards 600, you would probably lose that mark, because we have to realise that if that's where 650 is, 640 is going to be very close to it. Here's a table of postage costs. We have mass of 0 to 100 grams, 101 to 250, 251 to 500, or 501 to 750 grams, and the costing down the side. So question 6b says, how much more, that's the key word. Now notice it's in bold. It will always try and give you a little hint here. What does it want? How much more does it cost to post a 640 gram letter than a 64 gram letter? So we have 2 bits of information we need here, and then the actual question to answer. First piece of information, how much does it cost for a 640 gram letter? Well, 640 lies between 500 and 750, so it must cost, as the table says, 238 pence, or £2.38. So I'm just going to write that underneath. £2.38. A little reminder to myself. Now for a 64 gram letter, well, that's less than 100 grams, so that will be 93 pence, or 0.93. Now we know how much these 2 parcels cost, or letters, we can work out what the difference is. Because to find out how much more it is, it's what would you have to add to it, or we do it backwards, a subtraction. Our highest amount, £2.38, subtract the 93p, 8 take away 3 is 5, 3 take away 9, we cannot do, so we're going to have to borrow a pound, so we borrow 10 from over here, that pound coin comes over here, it's going to be 13, 13 take away 9 is 4, decimal point back in line, 1 take away nothing is 1. So we have a £1.45 difference. For question 6c, it says how many 150 gram letters can be posted for £10? So we know we're dealing with 150 gram letters. We're going to have to find out how much that costs. And we know it cannot go above £10. Looking at the table, it says between 100 and 250, which is where 150 grams will be, is £1.24. So we're going to see how many times £1.24 will go into £10. Again, this is something that you can list, or you could go for a long division problem, whichever you're more comfortable with. I think personally, I would always try and list things like this, to say, right, 1 letter is £1.24, so if we go for 2 letters, it's going to be double that, so that would be £2.48. How about 3 letters? We'll add on another 124. So £2.48 add £1.24. 4 add 8. It's going to be 12. Carry 1. 2 add 4 is 6. So 7. 1 add 2 is 3. So £3.72. So we know we can definitely afford 3. Now, there's loads of ways to do this. If you wanted to go up in groups of 2, maybe, that would speed up our calculations a little bit. You've got a lot of space to be able to work out around here, or just keep going. Use whatever space you need to. I'm going to keep working on the individual letters, so let's look at 4 letters. 4 lots of this, so add another £1.24 onto this. We're going to end up with £4.96. Well, at this stage I realise I can double this. That's under £5, so I can take 8 letters now. Let's just skip ahead a little bit. Use the information we've got. And as long as we meet those 2 rules, that we're going up in £1.24 and it's less than £10, we're fine. So double the number of letters, doubles the cost. 2 lots of £4.96. That's going to be, if we can't work out in our head, we just jot it down. I'll change colour here just so you can see that this is working out and not part of my answer. But £4.96, add £4.96. 6 add 6 is 12. 9 add 9 is 18. So add that one more is 19. Decimal points stay in line. 4 add, don't forget to carry the 1. 4 add 4 add 1 is 9. So that would be £9.92. This stage we should be able to realise that if we added another pound on there, it would go over our total. So there we go. We've worked out that there are 8 letters that we can post if they're 150 grams for less than £10.